lot of rain out in L.A., and some of these pictures, I guess, weren't reflective. Actually, they were reflections.
Yes, they were very reflective.
They were not reflective of what we thought was the unbelievable devastation to some of these fields. But most of these baseball fields, football fields are built with drains so that they can actually drain away a lot of rain, not unbelievable flood-like rain and stuff. But the Angels game with the Reds was postponed due to inclement weather. What is our update for right now?
I'm trying to find what we're going to do because, we're late in the season here. There's a lot of moving parts. We got to fit these games in. Everybody's got to play 162. The Dodgers are a part of this as well. Their field was basically the island of whatever town we're in down there.
Chavez Ravine.
Chavez Ravine. Right. It was definitely a ravine right through there. But, nothing's come out that I have seen as far as what we're going to do to try to shift things around.
I didn't see San Diego, but the water in the parking lot and around, which is incredible because it's actually up, even though it's supposed to be in a ravine. Now, the stadium goes down into the ravine, but it is up on an angle. So the water should have subsided, but it didn't.
Yes.
Crazy.
So the Angels game looks like we're going to do that tonight. They pushed this back a little bit later. The Reds were supposed to play them. They are just doing one game here. And that's the other thing is like Reds-Angels, man. This isn't going to, there's not a good place in the schedule. And I guess if you want to put any knocks on the interleague schedule of 2023, this would be one of them, where if you had more of your games that are in your region, you can easily make this stuff up. But when you're talking California to Cincinnati, Cincinnati to California, it gets a little tougher. They are going to play today, 9:38 first pitch. I'm very interested to see what the field and the conditions look like. Yet to see. Hold on, I'm going to try to get the Dodgers stuff for you guys as well. But this is a big game for both teams. It's a big game for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, and listen, as we're under 40 games. We're at 38 and counting, 37 and counting. That wasn't the only thing. Now, I own a house still 30 miles north of Los Angeles, out in Thousand Oaks and in the Westlake area. But a 5.1 magnitude earthquake hit Ojai, which is up by Santa Barbara. And that's 80 miles north of Los Angeles. So it wasn't just the 3.18 inches of rainfall that hit land with this hurricane. It was also, there was an earthquake in the middle of it, which is insane. Some really bad weather out there.
So Dodgers are in Cleveland, take on the Guardians. Then they'll be in Fenway to take on the Boston Red Sox. Got to be tough for them, leaving everything behind and what's going on in Los Angeles. Plus, I heard about Freddie Freeman's house. I think there was somebody else, too. I want to say two players, but were broken into and robbed during
what? Didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
have looting?
Freeman looting. House broken into. You know about that.
Absolutely.
Max Muncy as well. Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman were burglarized while they were away on a road trip.
People will target homes of athletes when they're on the road.
Yeah, that's what's going on here with Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman.
So hopefully there was no families home at the time.
I know. But the weather is still an issue over there in California. I can't wait to see what the Angels and Reds look like tonight. You would have to think it's going to be an emotional road trip for the Dodgers as well, taking on the Boston Red Sox here in a couple of days.
Miami is in San Diego, by the way.
Big games for them. Like both the Marlins, the Reds, they're fighting for wild card spots. I would say that the Angels are fighting to prove to Ohtani that they love him. And the San Diego Padres trying to save face from that payroll. So all big games. I guess the Guardians would be the odd ones out here in all of this mix from the L.A. floods. But, yeah, those were crazy pictures yesterday just to look at Dodger Stadium completely surrounded by water.
How do I explain this? So I lived out there for 10 years. There was a 2-year period where there was not any rain whatsoever. Not a drop. I mean, it's like desert-like conditions. Beautiful, though, in the spring and the summer. But as you get into the fall, that's when the fires start because it gets so dry from no rain. And then you get the Santa Ana winds that come in and make things like 110 degrees later in the afternoon with the winds. And you saw what happened in Maui with 70-mile-an-hour winds. It just pushes fire like over roads, over mountains. It doesn't matter. Anything in its way is going to get destroyed. Well, the same thing happened with this rain because if there's too much, if there's not enough brush, grass, things like that because of drought, and you get a lot of rain, you get landslides. So that's why you've seen a lot of landslides and hills coming down and things like that. So it's crazy. That's one of the reasons we didn't love living out there.
I imagine.
Either the fires or the landslides, the mudslides, things like that. Earthquakes was the least of your worries, and not that it's a least worry, but they're so rare, and the magnitudes are so like never over 5.5. When they hit 7+, that's when you get a lot of damage. But man, there were times when we were living out there when 3 mountains would be on fire around you, and you're like praying that these firefighters, who are amazing at what they do, can bring in enough stuff to knock it down and save houses. And most of the times they're able to. It's spectacular what the firefighters can do out there.
Barney Lopez, shout out to him. He's going to be the hero of the game tonight. He is the head groundskeeper trying to get the field ready for tonight's first pitch. Major League Baseball has just come out and said what they're going to do with yesterday's game. It will be a split doubleheader tomorrow for the Reds and the Angels. Supposed to be a getaway day for them, so that's an easy switch.
Well, the Reds are 1 back right now in the wild card. They're a half out behind the Diamondbacks, so these are huge games. The West Coast is not easy, but you know what I did want to bring up that's not even on our rundown is the fact that now people are saying, is this a monumental mistake by the Angels to not trade Shohei? Now, when they didn't do the trade, everybody was like trumpeting this, saying, "Oh, this is a great job by Artie Moreno and the Angels." And what did we say? Get 5 or 6 players for this cat because he's going to walk. Now you even have people. I was watching the Mets broadcast last night, their pregame, and they're saying it's hard to put a price tag on this guy. No, not really. I mean, he's worth a lot of money, and he's a spectacular talent. But you don't want to destroy your team by giving $600 million to one player. So that's where you have to be smart with what you do. But by keeping them and going for it, now people are starting to look at the Angels and saying they're 9 games out in the wild card, really have no shot to win their division with the Astros and the Rangers. That's sad to me because everybody was saying, don't trade him, don't trade him, don't trade him. Now you're saying you should have traded him.
If you would have went the other way, everybody would have called you stupid that way. So it would have been damned if you do, damned if you don't. I still applaud him for trying to do what he thinks is best, and it's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet.
They could re-sign him.
They could easily re-sign him. I would put them in the running, at least in the top 3 of people going to re-sign him. If they were to trade him, they're not even sniffing bringing him back. So they still got an opportunity there. You want to hear my baseball joke that I heard today about the Yankees prospects? Pereira, Peraza, Steinbrenner Incorporated. Do-do-do-do. We're gonna do it. Give them any move, they'll make it. Give them any chance, they'll take it. They're gonna make your dreams come true. Doing it all.
Nice. Nice take on Laverne and Shirley.
That's not what I was expecting from this talk program. Call me crazy.
Honestly, I didn't expect to hear Laverne and Shirley today, but touche to you.
So Pereira and Peraza.
Well,
we know Oswald a little bit, this Pereira kid. We were talking about this. This is more of a jolt to the system than it is, let's see what these guys got. I think this is more about the veterans on the team than it is about these 2 rooks.
Listen, even was it Jason Dominguez? I would have called him up as well. I mean, see what these guys can do. You have no idea unless you give them some steady at-bats. They can't be any worse than what you're throwing out there right now. Hopefully they don't have the analytics brainwashing going on where you just play baseball. Play these last 38 games out. Play them hard. Try to earn a solid foundation for spring training to maybe make the team next year. And honestly, I don't think you should give anybody a job. And it's not like I think that Volpe isn't deserving of the shot. But every year, it's like quarterbacks. How often do we talk about quarterbacks in the NFL?
After this year, there'll be 15
That's
new
right.
ones.
And so we even, Mac Jones or Daniel Jones or any of these guys, we're always talking about it. Sam Darnold a couple of years ago. And so you get a couple of years and boom. So when you're in New York, whether you're the Mets shortstop or the Yankees shortstop, I always gave you, more credit. Like you're like a different cut of the jib.
Yeah.
And, so, yes, I played with a Hall of Famer. Ozzie Smith was a Hall of Famer in St. Louis. But when I looked around at whether you were a Dodger shortstop, a Yankee shortstop, because I grew up with some of these guys, you're going to be there for 10 years. And it's so for me to think, well, Volpe's going to be your shortstop for the next 10 years. He's your guy. That was why Gleyber Torres last year, not that I was ever down on anybody, but I was like, listen, this guy's not your shortstop. He doesn't even want to be the shortstop. He's happier going to second base or the outfield or DHing than being the shortstop because they know what that carries. It's hard to follow in the footsteps of like a Derek Jeter. And I thought Didi Gregorius was amazing in what he did while he was here with the Yankees. So it's more like shame on management and your scouting and evaluating people that you couldn't come up with a guy that when we looked at him, we were like, next stop Cooperstown. That's on his scouting report, just like it was Jeter's.
Rodon, big start tonight for the New York Yankees. I would say he's in a big pickle just as far as saving face in the pinstripes for the first year. They do have the lineups out. Pereira batting 7th, Peraza batting 8th.
Got no problem with that. I don't care if Rodon hits 9th. I mean, it's
I would love that.
Exactly.
Put him in.
I mean, listen, people are wanting Dominguez to get called up. He's the number 2 prospect according to your MLB pipeline. He was promoted from AA Somerset to Scranton, so he's in AAA, and they're giving him a look-see. But I mean, listen, Pereira hit .312 down in AAA with 8 homers and 33 RBI in 31 games, which is solid. At all the 2 levels he's been in, 300 with 18 and 64 in 81 games. My thing is, they can't be any worse. Can't be any worse than what you've been watching. And the problem is, how hard is it going to be to gel in a short period of time with the guys that they have right now? That's the difficulty. Hopefully, these older guys are more mentors than, you know what, you shouldn't be here. No, they should be here because you guys are so bad, they deserve an opportunity.